Where's my vocal warm-up? I hear the sound of yesterday, and I throw my own guitar away, and I blink, I breathe, and I lose my way. I close my eyes again. Well, how can this be real? This is so impossible. It must be supernatural. Every time I got it all figured out, Mobile disappears.
Ow!
A 251.
This is Ray Johnston, if you don't know him. Ray used to play basketball. He used to play at Alabama, and then at Dallas, right?
Yeah, for the Mavericks.
Yeah, and I know you had leukemia, and that's why you had to stop playing. But what made you want to go to music after that? What was the...
I think when I couldn't play basketball anymore, I missed the competitiveness and the team orientation and all the kind of ups and downs, and then finally you achieve a goal with the team together. I didn't know it, but I missed it at the time, and I didn't know how to kind of fulfill that. At first I fulfilled it with coaching, which was awesome, and there's all my kids now that I coach are now sophomores in college, and now asking me how to flirt via Facebook. It's kind of awkward, and so I take the fifth on a lot of those. But then music just kind of, I always did it in college, and I was decent enough in college to see people enjoy our music and to kind of get that bug, you know, on stage, which brings a lot of musicians back.
Yeah.
And so when my doctor gave me when I had my last relapse and he told me he didn't think I'd live till 33, I kind of did a what the heck deal and came home and called all these great musicians in Dallas that I'd been playing some cover gigs with, and then I said, I'm going to put you on salary, Cuban's going to do a TV show on us. And I think the fact that it was a TV show, but more importantly a salary, they said yes. And that's kind of how we started.
You've accomplished a lot in a relatively short amount of time. I know that you've played shows with Jimmy Buffett. You opened for a Cheap Trick at South by Southwest. What was the moment where you kind of went, all right, you know, I think I've made it as a musician? Like, you know, what was that point?
I think the first time that we actually headlined the Dallas House of Blues in the big ballroom, that was kind of I knew the guy for about 3 years that was kind of in charge of making that decision. And I know when I started my band, it's really hard to write your traditional 1, 3, and 5 year goals with all the relapses and chemotherapy.
I can imagine.
So basically I just say in 5 years I want to be breathing and smiling. But you know, it's still inside. I want to have some little tears for the band. And I said, I think we got a good enough sound where we could bring a crowd in there and we could play a very credible venue, and they would actually say, come back. And so we did that on Saturday, January the 21st. And we had a good enough crowd where we got an email the next morning at 8 saying, great start, good job, here's what we can improve on, we want to have you back. And so we were a year and a half old then. For a year and a half old band, thought that was a good milestone to achieve. And all my friends that came, and then the new fans we got, they did exactly what I wanted them to do, which is when we play a show, I like the happy ingredient of our music to relay over to the crowd. Not like you know, doing mosh dives or something. Like good high five. Yet you can talk during our music a little bit. You can boogie or Dougie.
People are just having a good time.
Yeah, just a relaxing. You know, I think we get lost in the shuffle in the entertainment business, both from a guy that goes to a concert and then a guy that's on stage performing, that we're ultimately paid to perform and entertain others, and that's the basis of it. And man, I get stressed. Like today we had a 18-hour bus ride that should have been 10, and I had many stressful moments, and then just on the sound check there I'm like, all right, cool, all this, it was kind of worth it. I still get to play a show tonight. I got a really easy job compared to most of the 9 to 5s behind my office, which I would be terrible at right now. I did it in the past and I was okay at it, but I don't know, I think the House of Blues, when we got the headline there, it said Ray Johnston, we had an opening band for us. I think that made me feel like we've kind of gone into chapter 3 of hopefully a chapter 20 book that keeps progressing.
All right, what band's still around, like today, would you most like to play a show with? Like, is there a band that maybe you admire or you really dig?
I'm up on Zach Brown hard right now. I love their harmonies. I love they generally look like they have fun when they play. I like how each one of their songs each night is different depending on what the vibe of the song is. Some nights might be crappier than the other nights. Some nights might just be killing. But I like that. I'm always going to be. I'm always going to focus probably my happiness and I don't know. I just like bands that can read each other. It reminds me a lot of a sport, and I have a lot of passion in basketball. And I really only made the Dallas Mavericks because I outthought a lot of people. That's not to say I was super smart. It just I played so many times that I was like, man, I'm not as quick as him. I can't shoot as good as him. I can't jump as high as him. What is my point of difference? How can I make the squad? And a lot of that relevant is the same in band. You know, why should Ray Johnston Band be a headliner at the Hangout Festival? Sharam, I hope you're listening. In a couple of years, you know, and that's a valid point. We want to have enough leverage and have enough people that say, yeah, we'll buy tickets if Ray's playing there, and that's a big part of the puzzle. That's the hardest thing. And going into this, I knew it would be hard, but I didn't know it'd be that hard. And then the constant contact, not a pun on a plug with constant contact, but the constant contact you must have with your fan base. A lot of people yearn to get that message and get that tweet from you. And so I try to make it funny. I try to make it relevant with the leukemia. I'm on a clinical trial now, and so I try to give authentic shout-outs to my clinical trial that's going so well, that's had me in remission for 20 months. And the fact that a lot of the hospitals are doing specific DNA conferences and seminars about my case in particular, it really makes me feel like my case can help save a life.
Yeah.
You know? And that just makes the band seem so small yet so huge, because I do have the stage to talk about that. It's hard because sometimes it gets diluted in other bands saying, hey, give to this, you know, and nothing against them, but you know, here I am alive because of a clinical trial, and you don't hear enough of those good stories, you know.
You really don't.
Unfortunately, our media can easily hop on a saddening story a lot quicker than a happy one. And so hopefully on this today that won't be the case.
Yeah.
But I love the challenge, and I love the similarities with the sports. Like today when we hit a good jam, like if I hear Bobby having a good solo, and normally the song arrangement would go back to the third chorus, that's one thing Keith, the saxophone player, told me. He's like, you need to listen better. Now that I got these in-ears, it's easier. And so if Bobby's got something going, I'm like, all right, let him go. And the crowd vibes that too. And so it's, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a 4 musician-wise, but I'm just started my vocal lessons. I made the first cut of that TV show, The Voice. I found out 3 days ago I didn't make the final cut, but hey, I made it a lot further than most. You know, that's good progress. And the work I'm doing seems to be inching me up to the goals that I have for my band. So it's a blast though, man. I love getting to play, and this is my home state. I'm from Montgomery and went to the University of Alabama. South Alabama wouldn't have me. Had to go up to Tuscaloosa. Mm-hmm. Neither would Spring Hill. I wasn't weird enough for Spring Hill, apparently.
Yeah. Do you have a guilty pleasure CD, like something that like people would never guess you listen to, that maybe you listen to on the road? Put your headphones in.
If I feel like I'm living life too fast and I'm running around, I listen to Sade. And the CD Lovers Rock is my favorite. It's also very good for a date.
That was about the last one I ever expected you to say.
Really?
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Sade live is banging awesome too, though. She got a lot of great musicians, but her CD called Lovers Rock was the CD that they played when I waited tables at Houston's, and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of, it's really chill. Yeah. Okay, I might cover a Sade song one day and be like, huh? So that's
like, I recognize that. What?
Is that Sade by a white boy?
What bands can you just not stand to listen to? And like this isn't a shit talk thing. This is what bands like you just generally do not enjoy their music?
I have a hard time with a lot of the stuff. It seems like every time I look in my back of my Rolling Stones magazine, at least 7 of the top 10 songs all have the 160 beats per minute, 4 to the floor thing. And I'm like,
well, dance stuff is what I mean. Like, it's sad, but like dance stuff is what people want to hear. More people are interested in going to a club than to a bar to see a band, and that's a sad truth.
It is, and you know, but I do respect DJs like Questlove and Girl Talk, how that is to me an art, how they can take a song like Walk This Way and then turn it into I Like the Way You Move by Outkast. But what I don't like is like, I don't know, the predictable Gaga songs that are just kind of fluffy and bubblegummy. And
if it hadn't been music, where do you think you would have ended up after NBA?
Coaching or entrepreneur somewhere. I enjoyed my coaching deal. I just had so many ups and downs in my health then, and coaching takes a lot of time. One way to be a bad coach is not having enough time for the kids and the parents. And so once I didn't, I was very blunt and said, y'all, wish you the best, but I can't coach anymore. I was having to go through chemo a lot. But if I wouldn't have the energy for coaching, I would have been some type of entrepreneur. Like, this is being an entrepreneur. This is my band. I pay all the musicians right now.
The band is a business.
Yeah. Hopefully one of these days we'll have some equal partnerships if that's the way it should be. But if not, all good. I got a daddy that taught me well.
Well, Ray, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Cool. Spread the word on how beautiful our bus is. If you know some good techs in the area, it's been breaking it down a lot. It's a shame because it's really pretty in here.
Help Rosie.
That's right.
Support Rosie.